What does one feel in a Bridgerton?
Disappointment.
Hello, this is a recap of Bridgerton Season 2 with me giving you my opinion, even though no one asked. This will have spoilers, so if you haven't watched this season, go and watch it, or I guess if you don't care, then don't. I was initially going to rewatch Season 2 and film my reaction to that, but then I realized that I really don't want to sit through the last 4 episodes of the season again. So here I am doing a breakdown / review instead. A lot of my expectations going into this season are based off of me reading the book, so just please keep that in mind when watching this video. These are my opinions. I know I'm gonna rant a lot here, but you don't have to agree with them. You know, it's just how I feel about the season. But who cares about a stupid intro, right? Let's just get into it. So here is my chart. You've seen it this entire time, had some time to process it, and you might have some questions. As a summary of how I felt about season 2, it goes a little something like this. So episodes 1 to 4 were spectacular. They were good. They were amazing. They had me screaming, yelling, shitting my pants while watching it. Like, I was squealing like a pig. It was fully meeting my expectations. I was like, this is it. This is what I have waited for. And then episodes 5 through 7 happened, and I was like,
what the fuck is happening?
I'm confused. Where are they going with this? Episode 8 happened, right? The last episode, and it kind of felt like there was a little bit of redemption going on. Like, the episode seemed fine. That's a maybe, all right? Maybe for redemption on the last episode, because it wasn't fully fine. I still had a lot of stuff that I found wrong with the things that happened in the last episode. You know, let's just say that it started out promising, but then it quickly turned to shit. So before we get into these characters that I have chosen right here, I just want to talk about the actual good things about this season that I actually really love. So the first thing that I'll mention is the pal mal scene, okay? If you have seen my what I want to see in season 2 of Bridgerton video, I said that I wanted to see the pal mal scene, and it was amazing, okay? Of course, everyone wanted Simon to be there because he was there in the books, but you know, there's nothing we can do if an actor doesn't want to be in the show anymore. As I said before in the summary, episodes 1 through 4 were extremely good. They were exactly what I wanted in this show. Obviously, the timeline wasn't like so closely following the book. Like, they did still do things differently, but that is what a show is for. They're supposed to change things to fit their medium, and they did. And it was really nice to see, just like what they did to Simon and Daphne. I also think that the characters were acted very well. Despite me having some problems with the changes that they did to certain characters' personalities, I still think that these people did an absolutely great job at portraying what they were given. And I don't know her name, this actress. I don't know her name, but the actress for Violet and the actress for Danbury, they were so good. I mean, I could go on everyone here, okay, and just say that they were amazing, because that's basically my point. And I think the chemistry was great, okay? Despite what some people might say, I actually think it was really done well. Jonathan Bailey is a gay man, and he acted the shit out of having chemistry with a woman, so that takes us to our first character, right? The main character. I think they definitely improved upon Anthony's character compared to the books. You know, Anthony, that written on paper can seem very harsh and very unlikable real quick. In the books, there were definitely some parts where I was like, that seems not okay for you to do, Anthony, okay? Stop with that. Once again, if you watch my other video about Bridgerton season 2, I mentioned that I was like, the first kiss that they had in the books felt very non-consensual on Kate's part. Like, it felt like Anthony was just trying to get at Kate. And so he decided that the best way to do it was to kiss her without like her direct permission, and it just felt icky. But there was nothing like that in the show. They had Anthony constantly telling Kate, if you do not want this, I will leave. and she says that she wants it. I love that. I feel like all the moments that they had in the show were done very well. It's just, I kind of wish that they did more with it other than just making them breathe on each other like way too many times. I love what the show did with improving these characters and especially Anthony, but I just kind of wish that they went with these improvements about the nuances of the story and they stuck to the story, if that makes sense. They really just changed the entire last half of Kate and Anthony's book. I don't think there was really anything specifically wrong with them getting married. So why change what wasn't broken? But I will get to talking about that marriage stuff more later on when we're specifically talking about this red line right here, explaining Anthony and Kate's relationship. So more on Anthony, okay? I have a lot on Anthony. Obviously, he's the main character. I think the flashbacks were extremely good in showing the impact of his dad's death. His dad's death tore Anthony apart in the books. You get to read his thoughts. That's what makes kind of reading a book easier to understand a character, is because you can read their thoughts, and it's obviously harder in a show. But I think they really did a good job at just showing how much it affected him. They even showed how much it affected Violet, which we didn't get to know in the books. And to start off on a good note with the flashbacks, because I do have some bad things to say about it, I really love how they showed us how broken Violet was after Edmund's death.
Edmund was the air that I breathed. Now there is no air.
They used it as this reason as to why Anthony doesn't want to love. You know, he is so unwilling to fall in love because he claims that he doesn't want to be the cause of the same pain that his mother felt. Like when he dies, he doesn't want his wife to be that way. He witnessed the pain that his mother went through, and he realized he never wants that for anyone else, especially for the woman that he loves. And he never wants to experience that same grief too. But the main problem that I have with how the show handled the flashbacks was exactly how my friend Kels said it. That they failed to show Anthony's struggle with mortality, his own mortality. So in the book, Anthony has this fear where he believes that he's not going to live past the age of 38, which I think is the age that his dad died. And so he wants to prevent himself from getting too attached to anyone outside of his family, aka Kate. But I guess the show writers might have thought this struggle with mortality might have been something that a lot of viewers could have a difficult time understanding, so maybe that's why they left it out, because it is kind of a difficult topic to tackle. I mean, I feel like even Julia Quinn struggled with it a bit in explaining it in the books, because it did seem a little irrational in the books for Anthony to feel like that. But that is something that real people feel when a parent dies very early in their lives. So what you're probably thinking is, good God, how long is she gonna fucking talk about Anthony? But thank God, I'm done with Anthony. For now, we move on to Kate. So Kate, what the fuck happened to Kate's backstory? Before we get into that, Kate looks stunning. Simone Ashley looks absolutely gorgeous in this season. She looked good in literally every color dress that they put her in, and I was like gagging obsessed. Every time they had her in braids, she looked so amazing in braids. I just thought about how much I love women whenever she appeared on screen. But aside from that, right, let's get back to what the fuck happened to Kate's backstory. Where was the material? Where was it? So Kate is supposed to have a fear of storms because her mother died in a storm, and she still has a lot of like hidden trauma about how her mother died. Her mother died when she was very young. This fear of storms and trauma was replaced in the show by small mentions of her father's death instead of her mother, and just like one line of her saying that she's unsettled by storms. So the library scene, even if you didn't read the books, I feel like you would have loved the library scene. I think it was very good nonetheless because it's something that like they bonded over, but I just love how it was done in the books. I feel like they could have included that and mashed it together with what they did in the show, and it would have been great. In the books. In the books. In the books. God, I feel like I'm gonna get tired of saying in the books. But in the books, it's supposed to be this thing where Kate is finding herself in a very vulnerable spot. it's a storm, and it's like she actually is afraid of these storms so much, and she kind of curls up in the library and she's afraid, and she's like having like a panic attack, and Anthony finds her because it's late at night, just like the show. And he's able to calm her down and like comfort her because he kind of knows how it feels to have a fear that some people may find childish or irrational. He's able to help her overcome it in that moment. And it's a great scene of how like Bond and how Kate starts to realize that maybe Anthony isn't so bad. I feel very strongly about the library scene because that library scene is what got me hooked onto Anthony and Kate. I started getting so invested in them. I don't think what they did with it in the show, like outside of a book context, was bad or anything. I think it was still very good, but I really, really wish that they included some aspect of her fear and didn't like dim it down to zero. Like that's one of those things about Kate and Anthony, is that they both have their inner demons that they help each other overcome, and Kate just kind of didn't have any. I feel like all she had to her character outside of Anthony was the shit with her grandparents, which was like, I don't know, sleeper. It really wasn't that interesting. And then they made her a liar. Like, she was just hiding everything from her sister, which is something that book Kate would not do. But speaking of her sister, Edwina, what the fuck happened? We're gonna get to this before we get to this. Kate and Edwina's bond as sisters was ruined, I feel like, in the show. So what I really loved about Kate and Edwina in the book, they treated each other like sister soulmates. Like, they were like, girl, you are my sister no matter what anyone tells us, no matter what our DNA is, you are my sister, my true sister. And no one can do anything about that. No one can ruin that for us. But then in the show, Edwina has a line where she throws shade at Kate, and she reminds her that they are half sisters and not true-blooded sisters. And I was like, what? That's something Edwina would never do. How dare you? But I guess that's too like wholesome for a drama TV show, so they changed Edwina's character to kind of have more dimension. I'm all for giving a character more dimension. They kind of turned her into an annoying brat. I don't know. She says at one point, she's like, how stupid have I been to not notice that Kate and Anthony have this thing going on between them? And I'm like, correct. Like, you were kind of stupid for not noticing that. Like, hello? I just really wish that they didn't turn it into a love triangle. In the book, Edwina didn't really care for Anthony that much. In the same way that Anthony viewed Edwina as a means to an end to getting married, Edwina kind of saw him the same, because this is what their society is about. Even though Edwina still had like visions of what she really wanted in a husband, she wanted a scholarly guy. She kind of wanted a nerd, because Edwina is a nerd herself. She likes to read and she likes to talk about stuff. Like, Anthony's not exactly that person, so she was like kind of uninterested in him. Like, she kind of just saw him as another suitor. She even has this guy that she actually ends up really liking in the book, where she really feels like she can fall in love with him and he can fall in love with her, but he was like non-existent in the show. And I was actually kind of really looking forward to them giving her character more dimension in that aspect of like her finding her own story outside of Kate and Anthony. But no, they made it into a love triangle where Edwina actually had feelings for Anthony. And I was like, guys, I hate love triangles. I hate them.
Absolutely fucking hate them.
It was just very annoying. I know what they were trying to achieve with her. I just wish that like she was less annoying. It bothered me so much that it took her forever to forgive Kate for like the stuff that Kate did. And it bothered me so much on Kate's part that it took forever for Kate to show any true remorse for what she did. If you're sorry, just say sorry so that she can forgive you. And it's like Kate would like try to apologize and say, oh, I just wanted you to be happy. Kate probably said that line, I just wanted you to be happy, like, I don't know, like 10 times in the season, 20 times. I don't know how many fucking times she said it. She said it so many times. And I was like, can't you say anything else? It all could have worked better for me personally if Edwina actually just one time asked her about her own happiness. Because I feel like from what I remember, I binged this season, so sometimes things get a little bit blurry, so correct me if I'm wrong on this, please. I feel like Edwina didn't really consider Kate's feelings in the matter. Like, she was so focused on what was done wrong to her, but she never once really considered the pain that Kate felt in seeing her sister get engaged to the man she loved. Edwina kind of didn't consider that, at least the way I saw it. If there is a part in the episodes that you think kind of did what I am saying right now, please mention it, because I will actually go back and try to look for it. I just need to see that from Edwina. I feel like if I could see that from her, I would like her character a lot more. In my opinion, it just felt too selfish, because in the book, Edwina was so selfless. Like, she was so supportive of Kate. She was like, you know what, Kate? You do you, I will do me. Obviously, that's a whole different scenario, because she wasn't in love with Anthony and she never got engaged to him. It was Kate that got married to him abruptly. I just kind of felt that, ultimately, this enemies to lovers trope with Kate and Anthony was ruined by turning it into a love triangle. So, now that we have the top row done, that brings us to finally this heart right here between Anthony and Kate. In my video where I talked about what I wanted to see in this season, I mentioned bees a lot. Bees, and disappointment. So I said, if they don't do this scene where Anthony is looking like he's sucking on her boob, they are cowards. And guess what?
They were cowards.
Why did they choose to steer away from an early marriage? Why did they avoid what Simon and Daphne did? Was it to avoid those similarities between season 1 and 2? Because I honestly don't see a problem with it. Half of the book was Anthony and Kate falling in love within their marriage. I feel like that's something that a lot of people love about Kate and Anthony, is that they helped each other in their marriage. In season 1, Daphne and Simon's marriage was something that kind of brought them apart, which they eventually resolved. I was expecting in season 2 for Anthony and Kate's marriage to be something that brought them together, because they started out with this distance between them, but it just didn't happen. So Kate and Anthony had this incredibly strong chemistry, right? And it was so good, but I really wish they did more with it. As I mentioned before, literally had them breathing up on each other for so fucking long. I mean, come on, tell me why I had to wait 6 whole episodes for one kiss. Tell me why, make it make sense. We didn't have to wait that long for Simon and Daphne, right? I don't fucking remember waiting that long. And I know it's supposed to be like a slow burn type thing, and I know a lot of people who watch period romances love that. They eat that up. I mean, I love it. I eat it up. But not for Kate and Anthony. This thing with Kate and Anthony is that in the courting phase, they're really suppressing these emotions, right? It's like what happened in the show. They are denying their feelings. But then the thing with the bee happens, and they get caught very close together by this bitch, Portia. Out of consequence, they have to get married. Then finally, these rules that are separating them are gone. They are now married. They're now husband and wife, and they're like, I guess I don't have to repress my feelings anymore. And then they just go for it. They figure out that they don't have to repress their lust and passion, but Anthony is still feeling unwilling to fall in love with Kate. Obviously, Kate doesn't have that, and she falls in love with Anthony. And it's this whole thing where it's Anthony realizes that Kate loves him, and he has to face the fact maybe he loves her too, and it just happened without him knowing. That would have been really great to see on screen. I wanted that slow burn yearning, breathing on each other, not being able to kiss thing for the first half of this season. But then it happened in the entire season. Only in the last 2 episodes or something were they finally able to really face their feelings for each other. And then she almost dies. And come on, don't even get me started on the near-death experience. All right. Kate, who has been shown to be very skilled with horse riding, decides to ride off in the rain after having sex once. And then she decides to steer her horse towards this thing, whatever the hell that is, and then she almost dies. And I'm it feels so out of character, even for her. What Katya said in this Netflix video is sums it up pretty perfectly.
Mom, I'm telling you, after getting your fucking back blown out and your pulverized, you do not want to be riding on that horse like that. No.
So I actually really hate near-death experiences in period romances, but at least the one in the book made a little sense. In the book, Kate and Edwina's suitor are in a carriage, and Edwina's suitor kind of sucks at driving, so they crash and Kate breaks her leg, and Anthony has this whole freak out where he thinks that she's gonna die. In that situation, Kate didn't have control over what happened. Doesn't make me want to call her stupid or anything like that, but with the horse, like, what the fuck? Like, come on, you're smarter than that, Kate. I expected more from you. It just could have been done so much better, you know? But I feel like I can kind of excuse it because we got an absolutely great scene from Jonathan Bailey where Anthony cries when, like, he realizes that she's alive, and it's like, oh, Anthony. But finally leaving these three behind because I just had so many bad things to say about them. I'm sorry. That was just me ranting. But I want to talk about something good, okay? So we're going to talk about this. These two besties, Violet and Lady Danbury, they are the best duo. So this scene where they're laughing and making up, it was everything. I was laughing along with them. It was great. I was just so obsessed with these two besties. They were scheming the entire time, just like season 1, and I was there for it. I was living for it. And I feel like the actress for Lady Danbury has so many great expressions. It is fun to see her be a little goofy because, you know, she's supposed to be this stern woman, and like suddenly she's finally showing this side of herself where she's just genuinely having fun with Violet. And I'm like, girl, you get some of that entertainment in your life. Also, Lady Danbury, concerning her character, I think it was really fun to see her interact with the Queen, because the Queen is also kind of like one of her other besties, and, you know, they kind of have this, like, mentor, tutor, like, I don't want to say that the Queen is, like, Danbury's student, but, you know, the Queen kind of looks up to Lady Danbury in a way. She may not say it outright, but it's like, you can see it. Like, she looks to her for advice concerning the ton. I also just want to say about Violet, they gave her some banger lines in this season. I feel like in the entire Bridgerton show, including season 1, Violet has the best lines. Like, I wish I could have found some examples, but I ran out of time. She just has so many good, like, one-liners, so many impactful words to say. I'm like, Queen, you were the best mom. So another good thing to say, I guess, is about Eloise. Eloise, your girl Eloise, everyone's favorite girl in this series, right? Everyone's favorite sister. But before we get into this, don't look at this yet. I want to talk about Theo. Eloise and Theo. How dare they get me invested in this pairing, even though I know nothing's gonna happen with it? Like, they lit that flame and extinguished it so fast. So I am a sucker for rich person, poor person type of romance, like upper class, lower class pairing. You just know I was eating this shit up. Like, I was totally invested in Theo. The first time he showed up, I was like, wait, he's kind of cute. And then their interactions, I was like, wait a second, why are they cute? Oh my god, just honestly, sometimes the way he looked at her was just so, like, he was literally made for her. Like, he was literally written in there for Eloise, and I am so sad, but it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I don't think he will come back. Okay, maybe he will come back, but, like, you know, I don't think they will ever change any of these characters' actual partners. Like, I think she will still end up with Marina's husband, Sir Philip Crane. Now, that is, like, along the way in the future, like a decade into the future of the Bridgerton story. I don't know if they're still gonna stick with that timeline. They did have some setup with Marina. They showed Philip. They showed him and his character. He is a botanist and he, like, nerded out about plants. And I'm like, okay, so they are going through with Eloise and Philip. It's just that, oh my god, compared to Theo, Philip is so old and Eloise is so young. And that's why in the books, it takes like 10 years for them to reach like a point where it's okay for Eloise and Philip to get together, because she is so young. Like, she just barely debuted. She's a teenager right now. I just feel like she matched Theo so much. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a Philip hater, okay? I didn't like Eloise's book. In my book Bridgerton review, I literally gave the book 0 out of 5. I mean, I was probably very harsh on that, and I should probably go and reread it, give it another try, but I feel like a lot of people agree with me when I say that Theo and Eloise were so cute. They were so cute. We will finally touch up on this. Uh-oh, sisters. The besties broke up. There's a lot to unpack here, okay? Penelope is really out here ruining the lives of everyone she cares about. I know they are trying to add more drama, more suspense, more risk to Penelope's character because her character was a little bit boring in the books. Come on, girl, this is too much. This is too much. You gotta know when to turn it down a notch. She has literally hurt everyone that is close to her. Like, everyone. When Eloise finally grew a brain and figured out Penelope's secret, I was like, oh my god, they're doing this. They're really doing this. They're going through with it. When they were like yelling and screaming at each other, I was fully on Eloise's side. Eloise called her out, and she called her out on all the points in her bullshit. You fucked with Marina, you fucked with my brother, you fucked with my family, you fucked with me, you fucked with your own family. You dumb... No, I'm not gonna do that.
You dumb fucking bitch! I'm gonna fuck you!
Oh my god, Eloise said everything that was on my mind. She really called her out on everything that Penelope did. Girl, Penelope, come on, I love her, but like, what are they doing with her in this season? It was a mess. And I was totally on Eloise's side. I would be batshit mad. I would be so mad at Penelope if I was Eloise. I feel like they really built up this friendship, and it was so heartwarming to see them like be besties, you know, like just warm up to each other. They're bonding so much, and then this happens, and I'm like, oh my god. It's just, I feel like Penelope should have had more faith in Eloise. You know, Eloise literally has an obsession with Lady Whistledown, and her reputation has been in risk before because of the queen. I just really think that Penelope should have told her, and it's like, come on. But, you know, she's not going to tell her. This is a drama show. It's not going to be that easy. It's like, come on. She's your bestie. You got to trust your bestie. While we're still on Penelope's character, I want to touch up on the setup that they have with Colin and Penelope. Colin and Penelope, spoiler, do end up together in the books. But that is also the same thing with Eloise, where it's like it takes like 10 years for that to happen because Penelope is still very young. She's like the same age as Eloise. And so, you know, Colin's a little older. They had a lot of interactions this season. And then there was that thing in the last episode where they took it directly from the book. But the way they did it, like, why'd they change it? So in the book, that moment happens where Penelope overhears Colin saying this thing about her. Colin was with his brothers, and right as he said it, Penelope like shows herself, like she walks in on them, and she's like, oh, I wasn't supposed to hear that. But like it's such like an awkward moment, like, and Colin's just like, oh shit, like I feel really bad now. And he's like, you know, like, come on, Pen, I didn't mean it like that. She's just kind of like, oh, like it's okay. And she tries to like rub it off like it didn't hurt her or anything. That scene has so much impact in Penelope's book, and it's something that she has never forgotten over the years. But now they just kind of brushed over it as like some other catalyst for something else, and it's like, but that will bring us Colin's character. God, I'm going everywhere on this chart. So Colin has some setup. When he and Penelope were talking, Colin mentioned wanting to find his purpose, and that is the thing about Colin in the books, is that he feels that Anthony has a purpose as the Viscount. Benedict has a purpose in being an artist. Colin is like, what do I do with my life? You know, he's trying to find his passion. He finds it in journaling. When he travels, he writes down stuff that he sees and stuff, and he like finds a passion in it. And obviously Penelope is also a writer, and it's something they bonded with, and I feel like they're setting that up. I don't know what that thing was with Marina, but wow, Marina was a queen in telling Colin off, like, stop dwelling in the past, bro. Let me live my life so that you can live your life. And she told him to pay attention to Penelope, so I will applaud her for that one. Then we have the other brother, Benedict. Sorry, Gregory, you're not on this chart. You had one important scene and it's just not enough for me to talk about. Benedict has this amazing relationship with Eloise that carries on to season 2 from season 1. I feel like their bond is the cutest in the siblings. Like there's Anthony and Daphne's bond, but Eloise and Benedict's bond, no one can compete with it, in my opinion. It's heartwarming to see these two siblings like find comfort in each other and relate to each other. And with Benedict, you know, I feel like I had no problem with what he did this season. He was off on an adventure. He was off in his own world. It was hilarious to see him get high. But my question is, where's Sophie? Where's Sophie? I was really expecting there to be some setup for Sophie, because next season is about Benedict and Sophie. If we're going according to plan, season 3 is about Benedict and this girl named Sophie. I'm not going to talk about her too much, but I am talking about this because Benedict and Sophie's romance, their story from the book, is my absolute favorite. They are my number one. Now knowing what they have done with Anthony and Kate and how much they changed, I am worried. I am anxious about Benedict and Sophie. I just wish for Benedict and Sophie that they will stick to the book like they did with Simon and Daphne. Now that brings us to our last person on the chart, someone who I am angry I even have to talk about. Portia. Portia Featherington. Lady Featherington. Honestly, what was the point of her plotline with Lord Featherington, with Jack Featherington? Like, what was it? Like, I'm so tired of thinking about it. I feel like the show writers didn't really know what to do with Lady Featherington's character. She is supposed to be probably the most entertaining character in terms of like drama and scheming, and they're just like, oh no, what do we make her do this season? They wrote this plotline, something that was supposed to be entertaining just kind of became a little boring at some points, irritating, and then it turned disgusting. In my opinion, this plotline could have been scrapped or like given less attention to make room for Kate's backstory. But you know, what can I do? I'm insignificant. Despite me hating everything about this plotline, I do have some good things to say about Jack, okay? Even though I really hate him. So when Jack first showed up, okay, who is this guy? He seems kind of nice because, you know, he was set up already from the end of season 1, so you knew someone was coming to be Lord Featherington. Him and Penelope were getting along, and he wasn't doing anything particularly bad in the beginning. He genuinely seemed like a decent guy. Oh man. And then, then the season progressed, and he turned into like a con man, and I was like, hold on, what is he doing? What is happening? And I was conflicted midway through the season because his character has this charisma about him where you can't help but like kind of like him, because he really doesn't do like anything that makes you want to hate him other than the fact that he's a con man. And I guess that is a huge part of his character. It's like exactly the reason why he does so well as a con man is because he's charismatic. But oh my god, by the end of the season, I was flabbergasted, disgusted, throwing up, gagging, in a bad way. I just felt myself cringing so much anytime Lord Featherington and Lady Featherington were on scene together. He started flirting with her and I was like, oh no, this is like he is treating her like a MILF. And I'm like, I'm not digging it. Like, it feels icky. I close my eyes when they kiss. Like, I actually close my eyes. But then I had to see it again when I had to go get this clip. We knew this dude was coming ever since the end of season 1, but my god, why did they have to make it feel so icky? I feel like if they really wanted to go with the romance with this bitch, they could have made it less icky. Why not make it genuine? Why not give Portia some actual like romance in her life, not some icky thing with the person that her daughter is engaged to? Just everything about it. Ew. So we have covered everyone on the chart, but there are some people that I want to talk about that aren't on the chart. So the first side character I want to talk about is Francesca. Okay, Francesca, this bitch right here. You probably are like,
Who the hell is she?
She showed up in the first few episodes and then disappeared. If the show is going according to plan and going with every sibling, with every season, every book, every season, no one's gonna care about season 6 if they don't give Francesca some attention. Come on, at least like have someone say her name and recognize her as a sister. Like, for the most part, she's still a background character like Hyacinth and Gregory, and I get that because she's one of the younger ones. At least we know Hyacinth and Gregory are there. I feel like non-book readers are like, oh, who is this chick? Is she like a lady's maid? Is she a servant? And I really hope that the plotline they go with is showing us her romance with her first husband. So Francesca is married already in the books, and she gets widowed. Her husband dies. And the book readers are kind of just like, oh, okay, bye. Bye, first husband. Because we didn't see any development for them. I mean, they were kind of cute, but it's like, come on. Okay, finally, this guy's out of the way. And now he's made room for the new guy. And for something that is a huge part of Francesca's character, I really hope that they show her first husband. I think his name might have been John. I just want to see more of her. Come on. Like, we are seeing so much of Eloise. Give us some Francesca. Come on, like, Gregory is getting more spotlight than Francesca, and Gregory's season is the last one. This wouldn't be a Bridgerton video if I didn't talk about Daphne. Not much to talk about because she just, you know, she was amazing this season, obviously, but I feel like it was so funny because you can see the gears in Daphne's head like turning whenever she looked at Kate and Anthony, and she was like, something's going on here. And like, that's really all I have to say about Daphne. I was going to talk about the queen, but honestly, I'm losing my voice. I'm sorry, I can't talk about the queen because she didn't do a lot of stuff differently compared to season 1. So, you know, she's just queen. She's doing what she wants. She got peacocks and zebras and whatever. I'm scared that I'm going to lose my voice, so I'm going to end the video. In conclusion, this season could have gone a lot better if they just stuck to the source material. Of course, you know, this is a TV show. Adjustments have to be made, but you can take some liberties with the story, but still keep the overarching story the same. You did it with Simon and Daphne. Why couldn't you do it with Kate and Anthony? Anyway, that is my opinion on season 2. I really hope I didn't rant way too much, but thank you for watching and sticking around this long if you did. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any other thoughts. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, comment down below. Let me have it all, okay? Want to see what people have to say. But yeah, with that, I'm losing my voice. Goodbye.